Shabbat Shalom. So over the past number of years, I've been dabbling in a number of hobbies. I've been trying to learn guitar, piano, how to draw, photography. My recent one is learning how to play chess. Not as fun as the other ones, perhaps. And once I started learning all of these different hobbies that I still am nowhere near a master, I started getting Instagram ads for the quick and easy way to master how to play guitar in 2 weeks, how to draw like Walt Disney in a week, how to play chess like a grandmaster. All of these ads claiming that for the low price of $10 a month, I can learn anything that I would like and be a master. Well, I tried some of those out. I was like, for $10 a month, let me try if I can learn how to play guitar and, play like Jerry Garcia, whose birthday it would have been today. I'm not that great. Right, one of them, he claimed to be able to teach me like Jerry. So I signed up, and he does not know how to teach. He just will sit there with his guitar. The camera angle is all off. He's not showing you where his hand is on the frets or his rhythm hand, and it's just not working. And I already spent the money. He already has it. It's too late. So I tried somebody else. They were a little bit better. Same thing when it comes to learning piano. I've signed up for all of these courses. With chess, I got lucky because there's an app, and it's taught by AI coaches. So there's no one sitting there telling you exactly what to do. It's an AI coach yelling at me for making a blunder on a certain move that I should have noticed, and I didn't. And that's why I lost. But it's okay. It takes time to find teachers that we really can connect with. If we're lucky, there might be one teacher in our entire life that made an impact on us. Now, I'm lucky that I have found so many teachers. It really took until college and rabbinical school until I found a good teacher. But I'm going to name 3 of them that had a huge impact on me. One is Rabbi Patricia Fenton, who I'm sure you know, and Janet Davis, right? And then Rabbi Joshua Kolp, who was in the conservative yeshiva in Jerusalem. So all 3 of these teachers taught me Talmud. My first Talmud teacher, I'm not going to share their name, but I almost failed that class. They were a really tough teacher. I was in the advanced Talmud class, should not have been there my first year, and they were a little rough when it came to teaching Talmud. But then I found Rabbi Fenton and Janet and Rabbi Kolp, and they all helped me unlock how to learn Talmud. And they took it slow, they were patient with me, and now Talmud it was my favorite subject after that. And I am so grateful to all of them for teaching me. But what makes a great teacher? What makes a Rabbi Fenton or a Rabbi Kolp or a Janet, who should be Rabbi Davis, but she's not? Well, it comes from our Torah. In Devarim, on the other side of the Jordan River in the land of Moab, Moses undertook to expound this teaching. And then he goes off for chapters and chapters giving some long, long sermons. This from a guy who says, I don't have many words, I'm slow of speech and tongue. And then he's going to go and share words. He's 120, by the way, and he's just talking constantly. This is where the rabbis probably get it from. So Rashi says, well, what did Moses do if he's explaining the Torah? Well, he says that Moses explained the Torah in 70 languages. Now, I barely know 2 languages. I cannot imagine knowing 70. But this is what, according to Rashi, Moses did. And then later on in the Torah, when Moses says that you should write down all of these laws, clearly, our commentators add that they were written down in 70 languages. That is the best way to teach something. So everyone, no matter what language you speak, no matter how you learn, you're able to have access to that knowledge. Chizkuni tells us that Moses expounded all of the commandments in the Torah, including the 10 commandments, that the people had heard God directly share. God wished that the new generation, which had been born after Mount Sinai, should hear the 10 commandments at least from the mouth of Moses if they couldn't hear it from God. He was the most reliable human being that this task could be entrusted to. Nobody else could teach Torah like Moses. Moses knew that not all of the Israelites learned the same way. They didn't know what the same languages. Some were visual learners, some were hands-on learners, some were auditory learners. It was okay. Moses knew. That is what made him worthy of being known as Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our teacher. Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, may his memory be a blessing, taught over and above what Moses said in the last month of his life, though is what Moses did. He changed careers at 120. He shifted his relationship with the people. No longer Moses the liberator, Moses the lawgiver, the worker of miracles, the intermediary between the Israelites and God. He became the figure known to Jewish memory as Moshe Rabbeinu. That is how Deuteronomy begins. Moses began to expound this law, using the verb ba'er that we have not encountered in this sense in the Torah, and which appears only one more time toward the end of the book. And you shall write very clearly, ba'er hetev, all the words of this law on these stones. He wanted to explain, to expound, to make clear all of these laws. He wanted the people to understand that Judaism is not a religion of mysteries intelligible only to a few. It is, as he would say in his very last speech, it's an inheritance of the entire congregation of Jacob. When someone teaches us, they help us grow. That is why Judaism, with its acute concern for human dignity, favors leadership as education over leadership as power. And it began with Moses at the very end of his life. At this defining moment, Moses understood that though he would not physically be with the people when they entered the promised land, that he could still be with them intellectually and emotionally if he gave them the teachings to take with them into the future. Moses became the pioneer of perhaps the single greatest contribution to the concept of leadership, the idea of the teacher as a hero. Our rabbis in Pirkei Avot tell us one of the things that we all must do in life is to find ourselves a teacher. Find a teacher that works with us. Just because one didn't work to teach you how to play guitar or Hebrew doesn't mean another one won't. Rambam teaches us that if the teacher taught a concept and it was not grasped by the students, they should not become upset with them and display anger. They should not take out their ruler and smack you on the hands if you do not understand that math equation. Rather, the teacher should repeat and review the matter even if they must do so many times. This is what Rabbi Kolb did so well in Israel. I got the concept at some point in class, but he would go over many, many times on the whiteboard until every single student in that class understood the Talmud. And if the student still does not understand, the student should not say, "I understand," just to get out of the class. Rather, the student should ask again and again, even if it requires several repetitions. And the student should not be embarrassed of his colleagues if they grasp the subject first or the second time while they did not understand it until it was repeated 100 times. If the student becomes embarrassed of such matters, they will find themselves going in and out of the house of study without learning anything. Accordingly, the sages of the previous generation stated, "A bashful person will not learn, nor should the short-tempered teach." You have to have patience. Learning takes humility, persistence, and courage. Teaching takes patience and love. Moses' final act was not to perform miracles or to lead a battle. It was to teach. He understood that the greatest gift we can give is knowledge, and the greatest legacy we can leave is understanding. Moses spoke in 70 languages because he knew that not everyone learned the same way, and every soul deserves access to Torah. That is why we call him Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our teacher. So I want to ask all of you here to seek out your teachers, whether in Torah or in life. Appoint for yourself a guide who can help you grow. Become a teacher for somebody else. We all are a master in something. Share what you know, even if it seems small. Our tradition is built on the chain of transmission. Moshe received Torah at Sinai, and he handed it on to Joshua, and so forth. It continues with all of us sitting here today. Have patience. Have patience with yourself and have patience with others. Learning is not instant. $9.99 a month is not going to teach you everything there was. Real growth takes time, and the best lessons often come slowly. Most importantly, honor those who teach you. Tell them the difference that they made in your life. Gratitude turns knowledge into blessing. I would not be here today if it weren't for my incredible teachers. And if you're looking for a place to start, you can join one of our adult education courses here at Beth Yeshurun. We have many upcoming classes beginning later this summer, including a first-time parents class with Rabbi Sarah Forts, and a deep dive into some of the most complicated texts found in our Machzor this high holiday season with me. We also have our Intro to Judaism class. We have our B'nai Mitzvah class with Rabbi Morgan. Other classes that I'm sure you're teaching later on. There's tons of classes. And if you want to teach something, be our guest. Shabbat Shalom.